So, given everything that's been going on, this is another video I did not expect to be filming. But Viva cards are out, and I thought this would be a great time to just talk about this, get some ideas out. Let me know what you guys think as well, given all this information. And yes, I don't usually release videos this late into the week, but here we are. And today we're talking about the Tobi Roppo. There's a lot of information that came out with the Viva cards, but I just want to talk about the Tobi Roppo and information surrounding them, given, the fact that it seems that now it might as well be the end for the Tobi Roppo as far as we're concerned. We don't know if anything else will come. But before we get into all that, let me, take this time out. If if that button is still red, the subscribe button is still red, please do something about that. Give this video a thumbs up as well. And for those who are interested in spoilers, I know you technically don't need to have been up to date to, read the Viva cards, but I will also be talking about stuff in the manga that happened recently. So yeah, I'll put spoilers accordingly. Anyway, to the Tobi Roppo, I don't know if we'll get any more fighting. I don't think we'll get any major fighting with them left. Even if they do get up, even if they do manage to come conscious and continue, I think if we get anything from them, it will be story, right? Story-based stuff, how they came to be on Kaido's crew, their individual goals and dreams, stuff, and, who's who and CP0, stuff like that. I don't think we'll get any more big fights with the Tobi Roppo. That being said, how were they overall? Were they living up to the hype in which they had? And I think that a big thing about Kaido's crew is that there's a lot of strong people, right? And relatively, some characters are just going to outshine other characters. I think that is just the gist of it at the end of the day, right? That some characters will just always outshine. Now, on a base level, I will say that the Tobi Roppo were incredibly strong, right? No doubt about it. I think it's just a relatively how much characters shown, which is the issue here. But definitely, I mean, the fact that Nami and Usopp, given everything they had, couldn't even compete. Even the attack Nami did that took down Ulti at the end was only because Big Mom basically set her up, right? For Nami to slam dunk at the end. So even that wasn't even Nami's full W, right? And Usopp couldn't do anything at the end of the day. So even though the Tobi Roppo went down, at least Ulti and Page 1 was by a Yonko. It took a Yonko to bring those guys down. Straw Hats couldn't do it. At least the Straw Hats who were assigned to them. And then you have Who's Who, Black Maria, Sasaki. Those three, it took Straw Hats. It definitely did. And I think the Straw Hats that it took are quite notable ones at that, right? We have Jinbei, a warlord, a former warlord. Warlords who have been talked up to be able to stop Yonko. I remember in that one chapter, if we go back, I forgot what chapter number it is, but the chapter where Kizaru asked if he should go to Wano, they mentioned that once the Yonko on the move, warlords are the, warlords and admirals is all we have. So that's what it took to bring one of the Tobi Roppo down. Another one we have, Robin, very experienced Devil Fruit user. Hasn't shown everything she's got. Maybe now that's it. But, even now we still don't know. Maybe she's learned something else that she just couldn't apply here. And as well, we got Frankie. Frankie has, following in the footsteps of Vegapunk and still growing. These are Straw Hats who, at the time they joined, seemed like they'd be on the same level as the Monster Trio. So, actually, all of them are, apart from maybe Brooke, right? Robin, Frankie, and Jinbei seemed like they would be part of the Monster Trio at the time that they joined. And it took these kinds of characters to bring the Tobi Roppo down, barely. Right? Now, would we have liked to see more? Maybe, right? I mean, Sasuke even had a line that, everyone's scared of the Beast Pirates because of the Tobi Roppo. And I think that line requires context, right? Because in that line, you have to understand that everyone fears the Beast Pirates at the end of the day because of Kaido. That's who really everyone fears. So even though he says it's the Tobi Roppo, it's really Kaido. But that line requires context because in Wano, it's probably the Tobi Roppo for the most part. We haven't really seen the All-Stars do anything in Wano except for exist, and people will fear them because they exist. But really, when we talk about destroying villages, putting people in line, even the assassins that Denjiro was talking about, it's always the Tobi Roppo. And everyone really fears the Tobi Roppo. They are the face of the strength of the Beast Pirates, at least in Wano, because Kaido never really does anything, and neither do the All-Stars. But I think that's a really important point leading into the bounties that we got, because it seems that the bounties we got were really low. And I would hazard to guess, although it's unconfirmed right now, that the bounties were particularly low because these guys just chill in Wano. When we talk about, going out into the world, how you get bounties, world government knows what you've done. It's really by going out there. And it seems that these guys, for the most part, stay in Wano. Drake was a guy going out to different islands until, he joined Kaido's crew. Since then, it feels like he's just been in Wano, right? It feels like the Tobi Roppo never really leave. Headliners may, but Tobi Roppo really are the ones that run Wano, right? You could put it like that. As much as they are the All-Stars and all the other people, and Kaido himself, it's the Tobi Roppo that run Wano and keep everyone in line. So that's, I think, a major factor because a lot of them have been, in Kaido's crew for a long time, I'd guess as well. Let me just say that. A lot of this will probably be guessing, but they have been in Kaido's crew for a while and, out of the world government's eye. So a lot of the stuff which they've achieved over time has probably been lost because there's no way that, Page 1 could have a bounty of 290 million, which is lower than Luffy pre-time skip, right? Even though bounties are not equal to strength, we all know that, yeah. There's just no way that, Page 1 could be on the same level as Luffy pre-time skip. So I think there's quite a bit there which needs to be maybe dissected and could be said that, look, yeah, that's where Page 1 and a lot of these Tobi Roppo were when they first joined the Beast Pirates. But right now, they've surpassed that. Because you have to also wonder, why was Who's Who very confident that he could beat people whose bounty was more than double his own, right? It didn't just seem like it's out of nowhere, right? It didn't just seem like, yeah, he just thinks he's really great, but really, Who's Who is nothing. There's nothing that's made us think so in, everything since Who's Who was introduced. So there has to be something to show that, hey, this guy, although his bounty is less than half, he's really much stronger than that, right? And the All-Stars, again, their bounty is really high because they go out. We've seen Jack go out and do stuff, right? We've seen that, King and Queen, they're the ones who really help Kaido make a name outside of Wano. King was there when Kaido went wherever to try to go to Marineford, right? King took a lot of the executives somewhere back when Ace arrived. So a lot of the guys who go out are All-Stars, the guys who stay in Wano, Tobi Roppo. They manage that place. Let me also just say this really quickly before I close. Black Maria's bounty is the biggest enigma to me, and you guys can tell me what you think. Because Black Maria's bounty is 480 million. By the way, this is the bounty that I, said that Frankie would have after defeating Sasuke, who has 472. So that may still happen, but we don't know. But point is, Black Maria has 480, and Black Maria is from Wano, right? Now, obviously, when Black Maria was still a kid, because I think she's like 29 now, when she was still a kid, Kaido arrived. So I don't imagine she's spent that much time outside of Wano unless when she was, just after she was born, her parents left Wano. And then she came back and joined Kaido's crew. So it means Black Maria spent most of, if not all of her life in Wano and still has 480 million. Riddle me that. I am really confused as to how that's possible. Maybe when she was a headliner, she went out, spent time, got a bounty with under some All-Stars, and then came back and was promoted to Tobi Roppo. Maybe, I have no idea. But point to be made there. Black Maria may have also spent quite a bit of time in the Beast Pirates, which breeds an interesting dynamic because, I've talked about my ideas of Jack and Yamato, but now we can throw Black Maria into that mix because of how long she's, the fact that she's from Wano, she's probably been in the Beast Pirates for a really long time. But, let me not get sidetracked into stuff that's not important. The Tobi Roppo overall, guys, how do you feel about them? Were they impressive? Do we think that the fact that Straw Hats took them out is the Tobi Roppo being underwhelming? Or the Straw Hats actually showing us what they really have and living up to the potential that they're supposed to have as the Pirate King crew? Or do we think that, we could have had both, but we didn't really get as much as we should have gotten? and everything in between, right? Everything. If you disappointed, if you are excited, if you think it makes sense, if you want to logic it the way I logic it through, let me know all that down below. As always, guys, please like, subscribe. If you know someone who needs to hear the truth, share this video with them. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.